Um, Many of you know that I am a big believer in Bold. And 10 years ago today, well, not today, 10 years ago, almost to the day, it was actually December 15th, you'll see everything changed in my life. At that time, I was only 3 months into being a full-time real estate agent. The whole year prior, I was a part-time or dual career agent with a full-time job, did a handful of transactions, and then I shared the story of jumping in full with you in the past, and yet when October came around, I had been in the business full-time for just over 3 months, and I did not have as big of a pipeline as I anticipated or expected, and yet one of the agents that I reached out to find, like, what are you doing to get business? Shared with me some of the tactics and strategies that he was using, and I was like, wait, this all, like, he kept saying the same thing over and over, and he's like, that's right, it's a script, it's a dialogue, and I got it from this course called Bold. I'm like, what is this course called Bold? And he's like, well, it's a 7-week mindset and conditioning program that teaches you how to think differently so that you actually do the things that you know you're supposed to do. Because many of you know what you should do, and you know what you can do, and yet there's something that holds us back often. And that's fear and limiting beliefs and whatever programming we're bringing to the table. Right? And so Bold is this program that was designed to do that. And I was like, that's exciting, when is it? And he's like, it comes around every couple times. And then he's like, hey, it's $800. And I was like, what? Because I'm new. I don't have it. And yet I knew that in order for something to change, something had to change. Right? And so this comes up on my memories every so often, and I grabbed it this time to share with you that in 8 weeks of Bold, on December 15th, like, I went to the first step because it was free, thinking that I'm just going to get what I need from the first step, and I was like, and then I'll just do the things. Right? And then what I did, what I wasn't ready for is when I went to the first step, the content spoke to me in a way that I could no longer unhear it. Like, there's something that goes that says, like, when you hear something you can't unhear it, when you learn something you can't unlearn it. What you do with what you heard is everything. And it was at that time somebody challenged me to finally bet on myself, right? That I've been betting on other businesses and my jobs and my bosses, making them wealthy, and yet I'd never taken a bet on myself. And so I called my wife, and I said, which card will at least go 400? And I know that we got to come up with the rest in a little bit. And, like, let's sell the elliptical. Let's do the garage sale. Let's go, right, to get in there, right? And so I was 3 months being in the full-time. I'm not from here, and I didn't have a pipeline. I don't have a database. I didn't go to 14th grade here, right? Like, everybody I knew that was in the business knew somebody. I don't know nobody. I'm from Pennsylvania. I came over here for grad school and do an arts program. So even the people I do know, they're broke. They're all artists, right? So I'm like, how do I do this? And so this is the course, right? So I couldn't afford it. However, I knew I needed to be there. And so the one thing I'd like for you to consider is when your why is strong, you'll figure out the how. Because if I know that $800 seems like a lot, especially those of you that are just now getting into school, you got all these other things going on. I'd like you to consider something, that if for some reason you ran over something on the highway and all 4 of your tires got flat, how much are tires? About $200 a tire. Because you need to change those tires, you will find the $800 to get you to work or to whatever, right? So what I'm saying is that it's rarely a lack of resources, it's often a lack of resourcefulness that holds us back from our potential. That when it matters, we'll find it. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. And I'm not telling anyone, I'm not asking anybody to do something that isn't important to them. What I do know is that if you do see how important it is, you'll figure it out, and we can help you in a lot of different ways. Right? So we had a garage sale, and then I made a bet with myself to bet on myself. I knew one thing, that if you show me how to do it, I'm either going to do 2 things. I'm either going to prove it right, or I'm going to prove it wrong. I'm going to do exactly what he said. And if I have to get hung up on 100 times a week for 8 weeks to prove it wrong, I'm going to do it. Here's what happened, though. Not everyone hung up. All of a sudden, people started inviting me over to have presentations, to talk about getting their house sold. These are complete strangers that I literally just picked up the phone and had a conversation with. They're like, hey, come over. help me sell my house. And so what happened, in those 7 weeks, I took 7 listings and put 7 properties under contract in a city that I know nobody. These were complete strangers in a market where the average days on the market was 121 at the time. This is 2011, right? Like, you couldn't put a sign in the ground and get 14 offers. In fact, I didn't realize people had equity until 2013. Right? Like, sellers were bringing money to closing. What I wanted to share with you is that, I mean, you can see, I blurred out all the other names, and yet there's statistics around Bold, and what I like to say is that Bold works if you do. There is no magic pill out here. It's designed to put you in some discomfort. And I'm going to share with you that maybe you took the wrong version of Bold. So the other thing that I discovered is that I was pissed off that I didn't have $800 to invest in my business, and at that moment I vowed that that would be the last time that I don't have $800 to invest in my business and my family. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about your real estate business. This is about Disney. This is about the house that's debt-free. This is about creating a life by design, experiences worth giving, legacies worth leaving. Right? And we get lulled into this pattern of just doing the best we can and ignoring the best that can be done. Because it's uncomfortable. Because it's different, right? So in 8 weeks, I literally doubled what I did the entire year prior. In 8 weeks. And I didn't notice it until the very last step. Whenever I took a look at the stickers and I brought over to the coach, John, and I said, hey, I want to thank you. You helped me do twice as much business in 8 weeks as I did the entire whole year as a dual career agent. And he said something really interesting. He says, I didn't do anything. You did it. You showed up for yourself and your family. I was like, oh, okay. One of the other things I discovered is that I really fell in love with the content. And because of the impact that it made on me, I remember very specifically, it was step 2, it was about an hour into step 2, we were in the Overland Park training room before they went into the fancy spot. We were in the little training room. It's actually smaller than this, and there were 110 people in there sweating. And I was with my back up against the wall, and I was watching John Prescott teach Bold, and I was like, I didn't know I did it. I said it out loud. I said, I'm going to be that guy one day. And 2 seats next to me, a gentleman looks over, he's like, what's your name? And I introduced myself, and he happened to be the operating partner and investor of the office that I was in. He's like, what's your name? Right? And so what happened is that from that Bold, from all the activity, the things that were going on, the world opened up for me. And what was really interesting is that when you have a very clear purpose, saying yes and no to things becomes really easy. So the conversations that I would have around opportunity that was brought to me was simply, will this allow me to become a Bold coach? And if the answer is yes, then I'm interested. If the answer is like, well, not really, then thanks for coming. Right? Like, thanks for coming, no thank you. Right? And so what happened is literally, and Gary tells us this all the time, he says, you are 5 years away from where you desire to be. Always. Do you know what else happened on December 15th, 2016? I was in Austin auditioning to become a Bold coach, and I got accepted that day. Literally exactly 5 years later. And it started here. That goal became a reality. Now, a lot of you are sitting here and you've got a couple things going on in your mind. I want to address a couple things. And do I have permission to just be completely transparent with you? And I may say some things that might land a specific way for you. Do I have your permission to care about you enough to challenge you a little bit? Some of you are sitting here and said, I took Bold before, it didn't work for me. I didn't like it. So I'm going to ask you, which version did you take? Which version of Bold did you take? And some people are like, well, the online version or 2.0 or Classic. And I'm going to say, no. Which version did you take? Did you take Bold as it was written? Or did you take Bold Light? Did you take Bold Buffet? Did you just do the things that you wanted to do and disregard the rest because I'm just not into that kind of thing? Because here's the thing, Bold Heavy and Bold Light, they cost the same, they take the same amount of time, and yet your results may vary. On that on this page here, unfortunately, there are several people at my table that took Bold Light. They did Bold Buffet because they're just not into the rah-rah. They're not into whatever. I'm a relationship person. I don't like to make calls. I want to talk to people in person. Stop it, right? So the question I'm going to ask you is, how else is that showing up in your business and your life? Where else are you just simply picking and choosing what you want to do based on what feels good or is comfortable? What other opportunities are you missing for yourself and your family because you're more committed to your comfort than what it takes to win? Right? Here's another one. I'm too busy for a whole day. I'm busy. My plate's full. Matt, I'm busy. So the question is, and we talked about this in a prior team meeting, are you hiding behind working hard to avoid doing the hard work? Are you hiding behind being busy as opposed to working on your leadership skills, on your mindset, on your systems? Are you too busy running around reacting to people as opposed to running your day purposefully with a time block calendar that you're fully intentional with, right? $800, it is a big investment. It's a big investment, and yet how many of you would trade $60,000 for $800? The thing is that Bold has zero risk. Because we're going to share with you reimbursement programs that we have in place for it. If you do the work, you take Bold for free, and your life changes forever. So the question is, what is it costing you to stay exactly where you are? Not what does Bold cost, what is it costing you to stay where you are? By just doing the things that you like to do, right? When will you decide to bet on yourself? And are you still just going to do the best you can as opposed to the best that can be done? These are the questions that you got to go home and ask yourself. And I would challenge you to ask your family. Say, hey, I've got an opportunity to do something that could change our lives. Are you behind me? I may be late for dinner a couple nights. I may be doing a couple of things extra. And yet on the other side of this, something really awesome could be there. Do I have your support? Okay. So the good news is you have options. You've got the registration sheets in front of you, these outlined, right? So first and foremost, if you're just launching your business and the finances are real and there is nowhere to find it, Bold at Kennedy Rye is offering scholarships for those that have a need. Details to apply for those scholarships are coming soon. You literally just need to write a letter, and they give you money. The sad thing is that we've got so many scholarships to give, and I've seen this on the other side as a Bold coach. I go into areas where people say, like, I'd love to take Bold, I don't have the money. Did you apply for a scholarship? Well, no, I didn't have the time to write the letter. Don't be that person. Right? So our office has a payment plan. Stephanie, would you like to talk about that?
Yes, so like we've done in the past, you can do $400 down, $200 on your next two closings to pay for Bold. We'll register you on the front end so you're registered on day one. And then the other option is you can just pay for full Bold up front, and if you do that, then you do qualify for our reimbursement program, which is $100 for each transaction that's written during the Bold period and closed within 60 days after. And the maximum reimbursement is $800, so you can go for essentially for free if you register for Bold right up front. If you do the payment plan, you don't qualify for the reimbursements. So one or the other there, but we do have options for you.
Questions on that? Cool. So again, just a reminder, first step is free and it's just half day. It's 9 to 12. And then the rest of the sessions start at 9:30 and they're done at 2:30. So if you've got kids or obligations in the morning and in the afternoon, they've done it so that it really eliminates many of the obstacles that many of the students have had in the past. So the first step, again, the only cost to you is your investment of time. So definitely you want to be there, and if you're planning on being at first step and you're not ready to register yet, let us know so we can get you on the list so you can make sure that you've got a seat. It's going to be held at the Abdallah Shrine, which is in Overland Park, just off of I-35 in Metcalf, like right before Metcalf turns into 635. So it's really central. Again, the benefit is you're going to be meeting and learning from some of the other top agents in the city. Just today, we had another commitment of 10 agents joining us up from St. Joe. So we have right now just under 20 agents that have already committed to full Bold. They will cap out the room at a certain number. So if you're really considering doing this, you want to jump in because there's 4 other offices that are fighting for the seats as well. Any other questions, concerns, heartburn?